And good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Talent Sports Network broadcast tonight of Monett Cubs Wrestling. We are live at the MAC, the Monett Athletic Complex, here just northeast of the Monett High School campus. Sammy Clapper along with you here on MonettWebTV.com. It's senior night, the final regular season home match of the year for the Monett Cubs wrestling team. 4 seniors will be recognized here this evening along with their parents. One more tournament left to go for the Cubs. That's coming up this weekend, the Oak Grove Classic. And then a week from Friday, it will be district tournament time. And then just a week after that, the state wrestling tournament up at the Mizzou Arena in Columbia. The team and the the team, I should say, has seen the season go by very quickly. And here we are, the final home match of the year. The Joplin Eagles will be the opponent tonight. And there are a few open weight classes at the varsity level. We will have a couple of JV matches after the introduction and recognition of the senior wrestlers as well. Tonight's broadcast of Monett Cubs Wrestling here on MonettWebTV.com and the Talent Sports Network is brought to you by Coast to Coast, First State Bank, Jack Henry & Associates, Monett Rental and Sales, the Monett Athletic Booster Club, Huffmaster Insurance, the Bayou Restaurant, Race Brothers Farm and Home Supply, and Cox Health Monett, the official sports medicine provider of Monett High School. Amanda Harbaugh, the sports medicine trainer, on hand here this evening in case we have any injuries. And as we always say about the fine folks from Cox Health, hopefully they don't have anything to do this evening. Hopefully they just get to sit and enjoy the evening, and that means nobody gets hurt. The 4 seniors being recognized here this evening. We've got Onis Howard, Desmond Hill, Ian Meyer, and Brody Crawford, along with their parents. So Brody Crawford being recognized first. And again, 4 seniors for the Monett Cubs wrestling program in their final home match of the season. Again, Brody Crawford being recognized first. Cubs with 4 seniors, 3 juniors, a couple of sophomores, and 6 freshmen on the roster this year. And Brody Crawford, one of those seniors, being recognized right now here in pre-match ceremonies. Next up for the Cubs, it will be Desmond Hill. Crawford, Hill, Onis Howard, and Ian Meyer will all have matches this evening. Coach Darrell Bradley had to shuffle things around a little bit with the lineup because Joplin was open at some weight classes, but all 4 seniors will see action here tonight. Gary Meyer, one of the senior parents, will be joining us shortly here for coverage of the match on MonettWebTV.com. He's down there with his son Ian at the moment. And then he will join us up here for the coverage this evening here on the Talent Sports Network. Monett Cubs coached by Darrell Bradley in his 17th season. He's assisted by Dakota Greenhaw and Ben Hohensee. Onis Howard, also known as Aaron Howard. As Coach Derek Ewell, the football coach, always likes to say, the man with 2 names. 3rd senior being recognized here this evening. Onis Howard, Defensive Player of the Year in Class 3 on the state championship football team, and now wrapping up his home wrestling schedule here tonight. Brody Crawford, also a starter, both sides of the ball on that state championship football team, and a starter wrestler as well, and now the quarterback of the Cubs football team, and 3-time state qualifier Ian Meyer being recognized. Those are the 4 seniors for the Cubs. Again, Ian Meyer, Desmond Hill, Onis Howard, and Brody Crawford. PA announcer Justin Simmerad going over stats for the seniors and also some of their favorite memories of their wrestling careers here for the Purple and Gold. So that's it, the 4 seniors being recognized here tonight. And quite a group of seniors it is. Brody Crawford, Onis Howard, Desmond Hill, and Ian Meyer. Reading now some words from Coach Bradley that he had prepared for the seniors. It's a time to look back and Think of all the good times that went on, but also a sad time as well when you seniors move on. Doesn't matter what the sport is, senior night, always a little bittersweet, that's for sure. Looks like we're going to have a couple of JV matches here to get things rolling tonight. So we'll go ahead and keep the cameras rolling and let you view those two junior varsity matches. Now, Jamie Gwynn's going for the Cubs, a freshman. Jordan Withnow will also be wrestling for the Cubs. And Keaton Bradley will be going for the Joplin Eagles. And that'll be the first match here in the junior varsity competition. Jamie Gwynn and Keaton Bradley. A couple of JV matches, and then we will get the national anthem and the introductions and the varsity matches going. And then close out the evening, there will be another JV match in exhibition. Cody Thompson for the Cubs will be wrestling in that one. So lots of things going on here tonight at the MAC. If you're still out and about, got plenty of time to come by and watch the Monett Cubs in their final home match of the regular season here tonight. Again, we're live from the Monett Athletic Complex, Monett Cubs Wrestling here on Monett Web TV and the Talent Sports Network. We'll go ahead and take a pause here with the audio, keep the video rolling so you can watch the match between Gwynn and Bradley, and then we'll get ready for the varsity competition coming up shortly. Second exhibition match, we've got Jordan Withnow for the Cubs going up against Josiah Reitz for the Joplin Eagles. Keaton Bradley won the first exhibition match of the night as he won by fall over Jamie Gwynn. Again, this will be the final JV match, and then we'll get ready to go for the varsity competition. Again, we're wrestling at 152, junior varsity competition. Jordan Withnell against Josiah Reitz. This will be the final exhibition match of the night, and then we'll get ready for the varsity competition between the Monett Cubs and the Joplin Eagles here tonight from the MAC. Senior night here on the Talon Sports Network and MonetTV.com. Right now, Withnell in the second period has a 5-1 lead over Reitz. Move to the third period here, the final exhibition match tonight before the varsity competition. There will be one JV match after the Cubs and the Eagles wrestle at the varsity level. And right now, Withnell had an 8-2 lead, and he wins by fall. All right, Sammy Clapper back with you here on MonetWebTV.com. Gary Myers joined me alongside here at the MAC, and we're just about ready to get the varsity competition underway between the Monett Cubs and the Joplin Eagles. JV matches, they split. Joplin wins the first, and Jordan Withnell picks up a win for the Cubs in the second JV match. Again, there will be one more JV match later on this evening after the varsity competition. They're going to go ahead and have the national anthem played here before the introductions of starters, so we will pause for that. All right, starting lineups will be introduced to the crowd here gathered this evening on senior night here in just a moment. Again, 4 seniors will be wrestling for the Cubs along with the rest of the varsity lineup. There are a few open classes. Joplin came in with 5 open weight classes. Monette had only 2 to start, but due to some shuffling of the lineup, they will have, looks like 3. Well, no, it looks like they may just have 2.
I think we're just moving them around a little bit.
Yeah, they just moved around. They will have 3. They'll be open at 26, 38, and 95. But Joplin will be open at 06 and 13 as well. So Joplin a little bit of a short roster here this evening as the Cubs in their final match, dual, I should say, match of the season. They've got the Oak Grove tournament coming up this weekend. Well, one of those seniors is your son. He's already completed 4 years. You've done this once before with Kyle, and now you're doing it with Meyer. It goes, or with Ian, I should say.
Yeah.
It goes by fast. I tell you, I was just talking about that when you were down there with the seniors and their parents. When they start this as a freshman, it seems like it's a long way to the end, but boy, it goes by in the blink of an eye.
It does go by really fast. It's kind of hard to believe that not only that we're almost at the end of this season, but the end of his 4 years, which is kind of unbelievable. But he's had a good career and been really proud of all the things he's done.
Should be an interesting match tonight. I know Joplin much improved this year, although their lineup, they don't have a full roster where they can wrestle at all 14 weight classes, but a much improved roster. Unfortunately, a couple of those guys that have had some really good years are not going to be wrestling tonight.
Yeah, I think they've got a couple guys injured, a couple of their upper weights that have been ranked in Class 4 at off and on during the year, and I think they're out with some injuries and sickness today. So that's kind of where some of their opens are coming from. But they've been, their squad's improving and getting a little better, and looking forward to seeing them some in the future too.
Looking at the lineup for the Cubs tonight, Joey Simmerad will be going at 106, Joel Barrientos 113, Carter Brink will be wrestling at 120. Cubs are open at 126. Gunnar Bradley will be going at 132. And then the Cubs will be open at 138 because both Brody Crawford and Onis Howard will both be moving up. Crawford moving up to 145 and Howard up to 152. Desmond Hill will be wrestling at 160. Keller McCulley at 170. Wesley Merriman will be going at 182. The Cubs will be open at 195 as Ian Meyer also going to be moving up to 220. And Trevor Pruitt, who had been wrestling at 220, will move up to the heavyweights at 285. Talk about the 4 years for the seniors going by quickly. The season, as always, goes by very fast as well. We're in our final duel of the season. We got the Oak Grove tournament coming up this weekend, and a week from Friday, the district tournament's already here.
Yeah, and going to Clinton for the district tournament. So, it's going to be a little ways away. It's going to be a little different. We've been a little bit closer. Last few years, it's kind of been at our place or at Bolivar, which isn't too bad. Clinton a little further away. So we have to get up there, and that changes things a little bit. Just being away. It's always nice when you wrestle at home, but so be up to Clinton, and pretty much our district's real similar to what it has been. We do have a couple new teams in there, Cassville and a couple other new teams that are in there. So looking forward to the district tournament.
Seniors are the team captains, and they will be out with the official right now, going over the preliminaries with the Joplin captains as we get ready to go. It's nice to see Angel Villalta out there too, injured and unable to wrestle this year. He got injured back during football season.
Yeah, that was kind of a tough thing for the team there.
State qualifier, they were really counting on some things he was going to do this year.
Yeah, I think he was definitely going to look at being a state medalist. He followed up on a really good year he had last year and lost a tough match, to keep him out of the medals last year. And he'd really worked hard and had really improved. And unfortunately, took that knee injury and kept him out for the final part of football season and wrestling now.
They're going to start at 106, and Joey Simmerad will get the win by forfeit as Joplin open at 106. So the Cubs quickly out to a 6-0 lead here in the team standings. They'll add to that lead as Joel Barrientos at 113 will be unopposed as well as Joplin also open at that weight class. So Monette already with a 12-0 lead here as we go to the first contested match of the night. And that is at 120 pounds. Carter Brink, a freshman, going up against Deron Morgan from the Joplin Eagles.
And Carter's still working in 120. Him and Joel have kind of swapped weights here. Carter was wrestling at 13, and Joel was at 20, and Joel's moved down to 13. Carter's bumping up to 20 for the rest of the season. So, and that's okay. Carter's got a lot of length to him. It's a little easier for him to compete at the 120 with the length that he has.
Carter Brink coming into this match with a record of 36-5 as we are underway in the first match of the night. 120 pounds, Carter Brink against Deron Morgan from Joplin.
Carter's done a real good job on his feet this year about being really physical and getting to his takedowns and finishing his takedowns. He's probably been one of our best guys out there on the mat in the neutral position about, working the guy and being physical and staying on the attack as we see there and getting to that single leg. And helps he's left-handed too, which kind of messes with the guys a little bit. His attacks are always a little bit on the wrong sides from what you're used to a lot of times. So need to kind of finish that one in bounds, but still a good job there. And like I said, he's done really well in neutral position on his feet.
Just 30 seconds gone here in the opening period at 120. Carter Brink and Deron Morgan still looking for our first points of the match. We're live here at the MAC, Monet Athletic Complex, the home of the Monet Cubs wrestling team. Final duel of the year for the Cubs, and then it's on to one more tournament and then the district coming up next week.
Carter doing a good job of getting movement, and he's got really good pulls and getting the guy stepping in and getting to a leg that he wants to get to. And needs to kind of get back to that's where how you got that first takedown is getting back that nice little fake and getting into that single leg again. And then will the mat going to finish this one? Does a good job of keeping that whizzer in. Morgan does. Right back to that single leg again. So we can finish this one. Still having problems finishing.
Cubs come into this duel with a record of 11-11 on the season, so a win tonight, and they finish above 500 in dual competition on the year. Two recent outings, both double duels, and they split both of those. They won against Springfield Central, lost to Ozark, and then their last match last week lost to Neosho and won over Cassville.
Again, in on that, kind of change it up and hit that little double, but got to find a way to finish him in bounds.
Down to 25 seconds left here in the first period at 120. Still no points up on the board.
And in there deep on a bunch of shots and just couldn't quite get him finished and went out of bounds on 2 or 3 of them. And then Morgan did a good job of getting the whizzer in and then squaring back up and not giving up the points. First shot from Morgan, right back to the reshot by Brink. Needs a 4 seconds. Going to be tough to finish this one. And there he does. Gets it done. Good job.
So there we go. What we always talk about, getting points right at the end of the period. And Brink gets 2 and jumps on top 2-0 as we head to the second.
That that right there too. I mean, that really changes the match. From Morgan's standpoint. I mean, coming in 0-0 now 2-0. Brink chooses down here, gets an escape. Now you're down 3-0. So you really got to start scrambling for some points there. Good stand up by Brink. Stay on feet, stay in bounds, and he gets the escape. Move it to 3-0.
So 3-0 lead for Brink here just early on in the second period at 120. Thanks to a couple of open weight classes for Joplin at 06 and 13. Monette leads 12-0 in the team points.
Brink's been able to get to that right leg just all day long. Gets to it again. He gets taken. Almost got back points out of it. But
so it's a 5-0 lead now for Brink.
And this is going to be a problem for Morgan here. This is a good position for Brink. That
Brink,
arm caught.
Yeah, he's trying to get around perpendicular, and Morgan's trying to stay flat on his belly.
Kind of got a little bit of a hurry there. Working in, getting the legs in. Here, Bignon, get his hips. So you keep that good hip pressure there. Gonna try to work out to that hammer lock, get it on his back, which is where he was at a little bit ago. Kind of slow down and be a little more methodical with it. It's a good position. Don't rush this and try to give it up.
Halfway through the second period.
And a good return by Brink. Morgan's doing a good job of fighting everything off here. Not getting any points for himself, but he's keeping from giving up points in some pretty tough situations so far.
Down to 30 seconds left here in the second period.
Brings back to that hammer lock. Seems to be able to get to everything. He was able to get all that right leg on the whole first period, and just couldn't quite score with it. We're able to get some good positions here on the mat. Unable to score. See if we can get a score here at the end of the period.
He's got 15 seconds and trying to get him turned here before the period comes to a close.
And there, it looks like you can get some points right at the end of the period. Still 4 seconds left. He's got 3 points coming. And
Now it makes it an 8-0 lead. So again, points at the end of a period for Carter Brink.
And just shows why you just really need to wrestle all the way through. I mean, in the first period there was 4 seconds left, and takes that shot and finishes it in 4 seconds. So you can't relax out there. You got to make sure get there. He's right back in that leg again. He's got to finish those inbounds. Got to find a way to finish inbounds.
It's a couple of times already tonight. Been unable to keep his opponent in the ring. We're underway in the third period. 8-0 the lead for Brink here at 120.
Nice little go behind. Kind of a little half shot by Morgan, and he took advantage of that. He's to finish that off and circle back to the front.
It's a 10-point lead now. He's already got one extra point with the major decision. If he can hang on to that, looking for more.
Nice and thought we didn't get that one there. It's just getting a little bit of positioning off.
Well, Morgan is just pretty darn flexible. He bends that arm all the way back around behind his head, and he can't get him turned.
He is very flexible.
Because most guys, when your elbow starts going to your other ear, you're going to start rolling over. But Morgan's able to let it happen.
Yeah. It hurts my shoulder to watch it. I can't do that anymore. Maybe years ago, but not anymore. Got both legs and got that nice power half in. It's going to get on top of that and stand on it. There's a roll through.
Less than a minute to go in the third period. Carter Brink with a 10-0 lead.
Needs to keep that arm posted up there. Run that off, get to his half. This could be a good pinning combination here.
Yeah, and he's still got 40 seconds left in the third period, too.
That's like an eternity compared to where the other scores have come.
Yes.
We have a lot of time here. Needs to stay perpendicular, not let him hook that foot.
And he gets the pin. I was going to say, he's just started to say he had some back points coming, and then they award Brink the fall.
Hey, good job by Brink, and he's just really dominated that match on his feet. He could get that. Seemed like he could get to that right leg anytime he wanted, and didn't finish all of them, but obviously Morgan was on the defensive because we just get that leg anytime we wanted, and I think it finally kind of wore him out a little bit and got the fall at the end.
So Brink gets the win by pin at 120. Both schools, Monette and Joplin, are open at 126. So neither team will get points with the double forfeit. We move to 132 pounds. Gunnar Bradley, a freshman for the Cubs, going up against Bobby Owens from Joplin. Gunnar Bradley on the year, let's see, has a record of 31-11.
Gunnar, nice shot right to the single leg. Need to get to a finish on that. And he's still got a good position to finish it. Runs the pipe a little bit, gets there, and gonna finish it. Good job.
So Bradley out to a 2-0 lead. The Cubs, after the pin by Brink, lead the team points 18-0 over Joplin.
We've seen a couple, struggling to finish. And that's kind of a thing, when you're young and freshman in high school or early on in college careers. It's easy to get to the guy's leg, but finishing the takedowns what becomes is hard, and you got to kind of figure out ways to finish things, and they're still working on that. And, get it out there and finally getting to finish there.
Not quite halfway through the first period at 132, and Bradley has a 2-0 lead over Morgan.
It's going to get that Gable. Almost had it.
I correct myself, not Morgan. It's Owens, Bobby Owens for the Joplin Eagles.
Through a little roll through tilt, looking for points. Didn't quite hold him there. Got to really get him loaded up on your hips, but he's doing a good job of transitioning, keeping the pressure on Owens. Running right to it, and he's kind of get out the front and run to that a little bit.
Final 30 seconds of the first period, still a 2-0 score for Bradley. Wrestling at 132.
Doing a good job of transitioning to different stuff and keeping Owens on the defensive. Needs to be careful here. Short time, not give up any points. Now he's got that arm. Put that up on his hip and get a turn out of it.
Only 10 seconds left here in the first, so starting to run out of time.
And try and run that Tulsa ride. Now he's got a wing in it now. Not going to run out of time.
First period comes to a close. Gunnar Bradley with a 2-0 lead over Owens as we head to the second period.
Bradley would choose down.
Final duel of the year here at home for Monette. They've got a tournament coming up this weekend and just a week away from district tournament time.
I think it goes for stand-up, and Owens does a good job of sucking him back, kind of putting him in danger, and he had to kind of bail out of that. He's got his arm back. He's got to get it forward. He's got to keep moving.
We saw Bradley dictate a lot of what went on in the first period, but now suddenly Owens starting to be the wrestler in control here. Still a minute and a half left to go in the second.
Yeah, Gunner's got to keep his movement going. You know, we saw some really good movement from Brink, and got a little more movement out of it. That, you know, and the trick to getting out of bottom is, you know, you got to get pressure back into the guy, but you got to continue to move. Again, back in on that single leg, trying to turn it into a finish near the edge of the mat, and that should be 2.
So Bradley with the escape makes it a 3-0 advantage, and now another takedown. It's 5-0 for Bradley with a minute left to go here in the second period.
And he has legs in with the power half. This could be, needs to stand up and get on top of that.
This is a perfect example, too. This period didn't start well for Bradley, but he didn't panic. He didn't let himself get out of position. He stayed with it, and the next thing you know, he's got 3 more points, and now he's back in control on top.
Yeah, there's a couple points there. He kind of got a little bit out of position. It was kind of a little iffy what was going to happen, and you know, he made the decision to get back to good position and then continue to go. So, and that was a good job. But sometimes, you know, if you get out of position, I'm going to tell the kids, you know, if you get out of position, the first thing you got to do is fix your position. You know, if you continue going from that point, probably bad things are going to happen, and he did a good job there. And that's what some of the younger wrestlers struggle with sometimes. You know, they start doing something, they're ingrained to doing something, and they get in a bad position. They think, well, I'll just fight through it. Well, a lot of times that doesn't happen, and so you need to fix your position first and then continue on with what you're doing. Trying to get that Turk. They're really close to getting to it.
And the second period comes to a close. It's 5-0. The lead for Gunnar Bradley over Bobby Owens. Yeah, a younger wrestler I can see, you know, he gets in a bad spot. He starts to panic, and he immediately thinks, I got to hurry up and get out of this or get away from the guy. And sometimes that quickness gets him into trouble because he'll go right into something that the other guy's waiting on, and you kind of got to be patient sometimes.
Yeah. Patience is, especially, you know, as a top guy, you know, we talked about that a little bit, you know, you get in a good position as a top guy, and you kind of slow down a little bit and make sure that you stay in that good position. You don't get over, because guys are going to roll through on you. They're going to change momentum on you, and you got to kind of not give them anything at that point. So don't look for that little roll through tilt or getting to a Shirella here.
90 seconds left in the third, and Bradley with a 5-0 lead over Owens here, wrestling at 132.
Can get to 3 back points here, turn this one into major, and got an opportunity there. He's put a half on that right there.
Cubs lead the Eagles 18-0 in team points. Still got a long ways to go here. Several matches yet to be competed. 9 matches in all will be wrestled, and this is only the second contested match. There are some open weight classes.
I can go with a minute, so makes it 5-1. He's been pretty easy to get takedowns, so maybe try to trade some 2-for-1s and get this to a major. Be 55 seconds left, so need to get 4 points. So it'd have to be look for a takedown to back, or maybe a couple takedowns if he gets them really quick. I took a good shot, but then he just kind of paused and can't really hesitate on that shot. It gives that other guy opportunity to kind of work on you. So he needs to get on that shot and then continue to get right to a finish.
Down to 35 seconds left here in the third period.
Needs to back out of this, get back to his feet. It's not in a very good position. Might be looking to hit a Kelly right here. Get a little dump. He's got that elbow. He's kind of dove into that. He's got to not dive. He's got to get his hips under him.
Down to 10 seconds left. It's a 5-1 lead for Bradley.
He's got a pretty good lock. Probably not going to score. They call stalemate. Four seconds left.
And the third period comes to a close. So the Cubs pick up a win in the match. Gunnar Bradley, a 5-1 decision over Bobby Owens at 132. They'll move to 138. The Cubs are open at 138 tonight, so Terry Shuey will get a win by forfeit, and then we'll move to 145. Brody Crawford, one of the seniors for the Cubs, going up against Braden Williams. Brody Crawford on the year 21-10 as he comes into the match this evening. So 21-6 now, the advantage for the Cubs in the team points. Joplin getting their first points of the night on the forfeit.
Brody's really been wrestling a lot better during this last couple weeks, so let's see a good match out of him here. A little taped up there, a little dinged up, probably a thumb. Nice little pick to turn to a single, and he's gonna get the two. It's good work, but Williams had the whizzer in. And he tried to change directions on him a little bit and force that whizzer out, and he ended up getting the 2 points.
So a quick 2-0 advantage for Brody Crawford. Again, been wrestling at 138 for much of the season, but he has wrestled some up at 45, and same thing for Howard, who is wrestling up tonight as well.
Yeah, they kind of started up there. Actually, started up a couple weeks after football.
Yeah, I was going to say,
kind of big and fat after football.
There was a lot of them had a little weight to shed after football season.
Yeah, it went so long, and so I actually went down a couple weights and been down there for a little while, and just kind of getting a little relaxed here, going. Got the leg in, working to a guillotine.
Getting some more points here.
Back points, I got to get his hips up.
He's got 3 of them hanging there right now.
He's still got that arm trapped, which is, he let it go. He ran right into a wing, so that was good. Didn't actually let it go.
5-0 lead now for Brody Crawford. Still a minute left to go here in the first period, wrestling at 145.
Looks like he's got an arm hung up in there. So run that wing to the other side, or throw a half in on that near side. Probably can get that PD'd. He worked it back in really good. Yeah. Good flexibility by Williams. Worked that wing out, but Brody switches right off something else. That was a nice job.
And he lost one arm, but he quickly gathered in the other one, didn't he?
Yeah, he did a good job of moving that and getting over the other side. And we saw some good stuff from that from Brink. You know, he was staying on it and keeping good pressure, moving, going from one to another, and not letting that bottom guy get any traction, so to say, keeping him moving.
Less than 30 seconds here in the first period. Crawford with a 5-0 lead. Wrestling against Braden Williams. Still 15 seconds left.
Gets 3 more back points.
So it's an 8-0 lead now, and he's got it up to a major.
The leg in, kind of looking for a Turk. Didn't quite get it.
And
1 second.
Time's going to expire here in the first period. Wrestling at 145, 8-0, the advantage for Brody Crawford over Braden Williams.
Good start to the match here, getting the takedown and getting right to work on top. So he got that takedown pretty easy, kind of like see him get a stand up here, get his escape, and then right back and get a takedown. Turn that into 3 points.
Got to his feet, he gets the escape, so there's a 9-0 lead.
Nice little fake, and he just stepped right out of it. That was nice. Had a problem with sometimes with his fakes, and he backs out, and then he's too far away to get in that, and he stayed in on that one really nice. Job attacking and getting to that too. That was really nice. Did a good job dragging the toes and keeping it in, and staying with that, and not conceding that they were going to go out of bounds, and staying with it. That was a nice job.
Because Williams was trying to get to the edge, and Crawford got 2 more points. It's an 11-0 lead now. Still a lot of time left here in the second period, a minute and a half.
He's been pretty good about on top here, getting to his turns. So you got to think, as you're wearing that bottom guy out and wearing him out, one of those turns are going to come into a fall. Looking for a cradle. Needs to get his head free. Really don't want to be there. Kind of a funky position here. He's trying to run out and give up 1 and not 2. That was a good job. It looks like he's going to be able to take him down anytime he wants.
So 11-1 now. Crawford still with the lead.
Little whip there. And you get the takedown. So nice job of reaction. It wasn't exactly what he was looking for, but kind of went that little shuck, and he was trying to get that go behind, and he reacted to it, and he turned that into a double leg and finish. So it was a nice job by Crawford.
So a 13-1 advantage now. We're down to 43 seconds left in the second period. Yeah, it's twice he's got points right there at the edge of the circle, too. And you always hear about, doesn't matter what the sport, about athletes being aware of their surroundings. If it's a receiver, keeping his feet in bounds, a basketball player making sure he's behind the three-point line, for a wrestler, making sure he knows where he's at in the circle, and he's twice now got points at the edge of the ring.
Right. And both of them have been good jobs about keeping his toes in and, like I say, really understanding where he was at and doing that, because we were pretty close. I like the college rule is a little different. The college rule is as long as anything from anybody, from either wrestler, is in bounds or in the cylinder, doesn't have to be on the mat. If you think of the out of bounds line as a cylinder straight to the ceiling, as long as something's within that cylinder, you're still in bounds. So, and actually in the college rounds, you can the other guy can be completely out of bounds, and you can pin him out there. And we're in high school, you have to be in bounds to pin him. It really expands the wrestling area. It's pretty interesting to watch, and like I said, it expands the wrestling area so much more.
We move to the third period here at 145 pounds, and Brody Crawford with a 13-1 lead, and doesn't need too many points, and he can.
I think Williams chose top in this period, so Brody needs to keep moving. Did a good job earlier about getting right off the whistle. Now he's going to give it up an arm, and it's not really what you want to do with a 13-1 lead.
I just started to say he didn't need too many points to get to attack, and now he's. But he got away from it.
He got away from it. Yeah, it was kind of a little iffy situation there. It was a little bit tough. Just a little flexibility in the shoulder there himself.
So a 14-1 lead now for Crawford.
Brady will throw you from this position. So if Williams pushes too hard, we might see some excitement here, right here. So Williams tries to hit the throw, but I'm sure Brody's pushing quite hard enough. He's nice little pick. See if he can stay in bounds here. This is going to be kind of tough. This is where the college rule is nice, because high school, if one supporting part of either wrestler is out of bounds, you're out of bounds. Where, say with college, as long as something is in bounds, so you got a fingernail in bounds, you're still in bounds. So
we're down to 1:04 left to go in the third. It's a 14-1 lead for Crawford.
So a takedown here puts us to attack. So work real hard for that takedown in this match early. Little snap to go behind. Going to look for the double, and not a very good throw attempt there.
For the folks that aren't aware, you get 3 points for a win. If you can make it an 8-point win or more, you get 4 points for your team. Tech is a 15-point advantage, and that's 5 points for the team. And then, of course, a fall or a forfeit, you get 6 points. Monette leading right now 21-6 in the team points, and Crawford with a 14-1 lead here. And we're down to 25 seconds left in the third period.
We'll roll through. Now he's got an opportunity to get right. Even though he has the tech, he gets the opportunity to see if he can get the pin here.
Get that extra point. He's got the tech, and now he's going to try to get the pin and get one more point for his team, and there's still 10 seconds left.
It's a pretty tight position.
Williams is trying to fight to the end of the period.
There he goes.
Not give up that extra point.
He's going to lose it.
Up 16-1.
That'll be 19 actually, because he'll get.
Oh yeah, he gets the three. Yeah. That's right. He had back points he was holding. So 19-1. Brody Crawford with the victory. So 5 team points, and it's now 26-6 in favor of Monette in the team standings.
So nice controlled match from Brody. He went there and got to his takedowns, was tough on top. Got to his feet on the bottom, and just wrestled tough through the whole match.
We go to 152. It's Onis Howard, another one of the seniors for the Cubs. He'll be going up against Nathan McCauley. Howard on the year, 23-11 coming into this match.
Onis a returning state medalist for us this year, and he's kind of, we got a late start, and he's kind of had some conditioning issues and stuff, but he's been wrestling a little bit better here recently. So you always want to wrestle good on your senior night.
90 seconds left here in the first period.
And He's a really explosive. He's kind of get there and all of a sudden bang, he makes things happen in a hurry. He's really explosive. It kind of lulls him to sleep a little bit and really goes. Fix his position a little bit here and get that other arm free. Collie doing a pretty good job of controlling that. Decided he wasn't even getting anything out of it. Let it go.
Under a minute to go, first period, 152. Still no points up on the board between Onis Howard and Nathan McCauley.
Both guys just kind of feeling each other out and trying to find an advantageous position, but not doing a lot of real hard hand fighting there. A lot of just kind of going through the motions a little bit here.
Under 20 seconds now left in the first period.
And it's kind of forcing the issue a little bit now, getting him to back up a little bit. He's got to get a pull in there to get that leg there, getting some pulls.
And the first period is going to come to a close without any points. Wrestling at 152, Aaron Howard and Nathan McCauley.
It's Joplin's choice there. McCauley chooses down.
Cubs lead the Eagles 26-6 in the team points. They have won all of the matches that have been contested up to this point. There's been some forfeits already put up on the board as well from both sides. And we're at 152.
See a good tough ride from Aaron here. Got to that wrist. Always want to see that. And Aaron is bumping up a weight here, so he's giving up a little bit of size, not too bad. Like I said, he has been used to wrestling there, but it does make a difference. You know, a little bit of ends up a little bit of strength difference and a little bit of weight. Gonna get the legs in. Gonna have to. He kind of lost his legs, so he's gonna have to be careful here. He doesn't get in too much trouble. He gives up one. That's not terrible thing there. He was really in kind of a bad position, so good to just give up one and not more than that.
So Nathan McCauley takes a 1-0 lead over Howard here at 152. Still over a minute to go in the second period.
Howard's kind of starting to control the movement at the end of that first period when they're on their feet, so he's kind of controlling a little bit here. It's a nice little step into that pick. He's got to get his hands down to it. McCauley's just kind of tying up his hands.
Under a minute to go here in period number 2. McCauley with a 1-0 lead.
Try for a little foot sweep by Howard there. Didn't quite get to it. A little bounce. Still 1-0. 42 seconds left in the second period. It'll be Howard's choice in the third. So even if this goes out to one, you know, we finish on our feet. Aaron will have the opportunity to take down and tie this back up with an escape and then get back to his feet again. So really doesn't have to press anything here, but you really want to work on him and try to wear him out a little bit. Don't give him an opportunity to rest. Those guys look like they're kind of content to finish this period on their feet going into the third period.
Under 10 seconds now to go here in the second. And the second period closes out. Still 1-0. Nathan McCauley leading over Onis Howard. Wrestling at 152. And once again, we'll go to the deciding third period.
And Aaron's chance here to get his 1 point, or two if a reversal shows up. But right here, you really want to wrestle for one and get that escape and tie it up. McCauley didn't do too much, work too hard to try and hold him down at all there. So
no, he didn't.
And Aaron's kind of getting the pace going.
So it is tied 1-1.
McCauley really hadn't done much
You know, he's been much more of a defensive type wrestler in
particularly
this
on their
match.
feet here. And I mean, Aaron, and Howard hasn't done a whole lot, but he's had a couple little flurries like that right there. I mean, he's had a couple attempts, and McCauley's just kind of fighting it off and trying to keep it close. It looks like just not give anything up. Aaron really needs to get with him because it looks like he might be wearing out a little bit.
Still a minute to go here in the third period. 1-1 tie right now at 152 between Howard and McCauley.
He got to a leg, not really deep on it though. They're going to end up going out of bounds. It's the first time somebody's got to a leg in this match, so kind of bodes well for Howard to get into one. Oh, he's going to have to be careful. He keeps going out of bounds. He's going to get hit with a stall call.
Because we're under a minute to go now. 49 seconds left here in the third. 1-1 score, 152.
I think Aaron really needs to push the pace and maybe look at that stall call and make him wrestle. I think Aaron looks to be the quicker and the faster wrestler here, but he's got to get that pace up a little bit and maybe get a call that's going to make McCauley wrestle a little bit more out there instead of being so defensive. Down to 30 seconds. Aaron needs to circle out and
yeah, we just heard one of the Monad coaches yell from the sidelines too. You need to wrestle like you're from behind right now, Aaron, because time's starting to run out.
Yeah, 15 seconds. Right now we'll go back on our feet in neutral, so he doesn't have to get one right here. But he needs to push the pace a little bit more than he is.
5 seconds left in the third. Tied at 1. And the time runs out, so we're going to head to overtime.
So we'll be 1 minute overtime. Back on our feet.
So 1-1's the score here at 152, and we are in overtime. Otis Howard and Nathan McCauley.
We haven't had any stall calls in any wrestler. He gets to a leg. He's got to commit both hands to that and get that finish in there. It's only 10 seconds in. Second time he's got to a leg. He's got to really commit to it. It's kind of leaving the one hand hanging up there and kind of hoping he gets the leg. He's got to really commit to it. There we go. I thought for sure we get stall call there. It's a couple shots, and so McCauley hasn't really done anything on his feet whatsoever.
Halfway through the overtime period, still 1-1.
Aaron needs to keep that pressure on. Shot by McCauley. Aaron blocks it off. And they gave two. Gave two to McCauley on the throw there.
So he's got a 3-1 lead now.
That'll be the match.
Well, that'll be it because, yeah, it was overtime. That's right. I wasn't even thinking. So 3-1, McCauley picks up the victory. So it'll be 3 more points for the Eagles. Cubs still lead 26-9 in the team standings. And we go to 160 pounds. One of the 4 seniors, Desmond Hill. He'll be going up against Lucas Cunell. And Desmond on the year, 18-20.
Desmond's been struggling a little bit here recently. Hope to see him get that turnaround right here. He's been struggling, giving up some takedowns and putting himself in some bad positions, and ends up getting the 2 out of this. Got the leg in. Kind of a funky little scramble there, but
got it off to a good start. He's got a 2-0 lead.
Give up the 1. That's okay. It was a tough position for him, and he's not a guy that puts legs in anyway, so not really where he wanted to be. This is where he wants to be.
And Desmond's fairly tall, but Cunell's pretty darn tall himself. He's taller than Desmond.
And there's this is tough. That's going to be a pin.
And it is. Boom, just like that. A fall for Desmond Hill. And like you said, we talked about it last week in the Neosho-Cassville match. It'd been a while since he picked up a couple of good wins, and this is a nice one to finish out his senior career here at home. give him a little boost of confidence going to Oak Grove and then on into district. So 32-9. The Cubs extend their lead with the fall. And we go to 170 pounds, and it will be Keller McCulley, sophomore for the Cubs. And Joplin is open at 170, so a forfeit to the Cubs. And we move on to 182. Wesley Merriman, a freshman, going up against Chris Thornburg. And Merriman on the year, 15-19. So the Cubs now lead 38-9 in the team points.
This is another one. Had a little bit of a struggle here recently, so be nice to see him go out here and get a win tonight. Nice shot right off the start, get to the finish, and got their wrist. That's a really good start.
2-0 lead, just like that. Not even 10 seconds in. Merriman's already got the advantage over Thornburg.
Getting right to that wrist, half on the far side. Wesley's done a good job. He is a freshman. The strength thing gets to him a few times.
And a pin.
He gets a fall.
He was getting some back points, and the next thing you know, he got him turned enough where he got the shoulders on the mat, and Wesley Merriman wins by fall. So 6 more points for the Cubs. Both schools are open at 195, and we'll move to 220. It'll be Ian Meyer, final senior for the Cubs. He'll be going up against Dylan Mankin for the Eagles. Ian Meyer on the year, 32-2. $44-9 now. The Cubs lead the Eagles. We've got this match here at 220 and one more left to be competed against. And that's at 285. Trevor Pruitt against Jacob Boo. Meyer gets a quick 2 points and jumps on top of the scoreboard, 2-0.
Nice little elbow pass to far side single and got to finish. He kind of needs to finish that a little lower. That's Dad telling him he's got to do things right. Needs a little better finish on that. And cut him for one, and then little ankle pick for the takedown going through a step through Turk.
So 4-1 advantage for Meyer.
And this is going to be.
And
tough
there's
position.
a lot of time, and he got that one leg up in there. And boy, once you get one of their legs up and you got their back on the floor, that's just tough to get away from.
Well, then the way he worked that wing in, and you take it and you stick your elbow towards his ear, it gets really, really, really tight in a hurry, and it's a tough position.
So that's 3 falls in a row to the Cubs, and they have extended their lead now to 50-9. And our final match of the evening, 285, Trevor Pruitt, a junior. Trevor on the year 6-12. He'll be going up against Jacob Boo. Both Meyer and Pruitt wrestling up tonight since Joplin was open at 95. Meyer moved up to 220, and Pruitt, who had been wrestling 220, he goes up to 285.
This is a little different for Pruitt moving up to, although it looks like here that Boo. Was it Boo?
Boo, yeah.
Boo is not a really big heavyweight, so it's not like he's giving up a ton of weight. But going from 220 up to 285, and you get a big guy that's every bit of 285, it can be a big difference here. But Boo doesn't look like he's one of those guys, so that'll help out a little bit, even though he is moving up. Kind of took a crossbody shot there and put himself in a bad position. And gives up 2.
So Boo has the early 2-0 lead here at 285. Final match of the night. We're just a little less than a minute into the first period. Senior night here at the MAC in Monette. Cubs taking on the Joplin Eagles, and they lead Joplin 50-9 in the team points.
Boo goes put the leg in, gets to a power half. Pruitt does a good job fighting it back down. Got to get his feet. It's got him where he wants him. Put him right to his back. Get the reversal.
Now he's getting close to a pin if he can hold it. Still 40 seconds left.
He's getting circled the other way a little bit, trying to move him back in bounds.
He's got 3 points coming. And Boo is trying to get out of the circle. And Pruitt's trying to hold him in. Still 25 seconds left, and now they break. So 3 points to Pruitt, and he now leads 5-2.
Not sure why he let him up there, and he's going to give up a point because by rule, if the guy's on his back and you just let him go, then it's an unsportsmanlike. Not sure why. I don't know. I'm not a little confused as why he didn't get the escape also there. But it's all right. It works out for us, so that's a good thing.
Yes.
We'll take it because it looks like he's going to do okay on top here.
10 seconds left in the first period. And Trevor with a 5-3 lead. And the first period comes to a close. So after Jacob Boo had taken the early lead against Trevor Pruitt, Trevor battled back, and he now leads 5-3. Wrestling at 285, final match of the night between the Cubs and the Eagles. Monette leads Joplin 50-9 here in this duel this evening.
Well, he's looking really tired after that first period, though. He's really breathing hard. So I see Pruitt, keep the movement up, keep the pace of the match high, not sit around on bottom there. Don't want to get there, don't want to reach back either. Bowie looking tired there. You want to keep that pace up.
Yeah, I think that little skirmish over there on the edge of the circle took a little bit out of him.
I'm sure it did. That's a tough position, but he doesn't want to reach up and grab and go to his back there. He's got to get off the head. This is not a good position.
Yeah, Boo's going to use his weight advantage right there as he got Trevor over on his back, and he wins by fall.
Yeah, it's kind of Trevor kind of put himself there. He got a position, turn back, reach back, grab the head, and not where you want to be. If the guy's in a better position, you grab his head, you're probably going to your back, and a lot of times you're going to end up staying there.
So that's going to give us our final score of the night, 50-16. The Cubs do take the duel, and they finish out the regular season 12-11 in duel competition.
50-15, I think.
50-15. Oh, yeah.
I think they have 9, so.
Yes, that's correct. Correct on my little computer screen here as well. It clicked up one too many. There we go. So 50-15.
We got an
exhibition
match going now.
Yeah, Cody Thompson going to finish out the evening here in an exhibition match for the Cubs. Cody Thompson was wrestling at the varsity level last week, sophomore, and got called up to do some varsity wrestling. And picked up a win last week in his match against Cassville.
Yes, he did. Got it there, and got an opportunity to get out there at the varsity level and got a win. So that was a good job by Cody.
Two to nothing lead here for Cody Thompson.
Doing pretty good job on top, keeping up there, staying off his knees, keeping pressure. Needs to find a way to get to a wrist and hang on to it. And grip strength being so important in wrestling. Actually they've done a bunch of studies, and the number one indicator of success for wrestlers is grip strength. It's not necessarily athletic ability or necessarily strength, weight strength or squats or quickness, but the number one predictor is grip strength.
Yeah, because you get around a joint somewhere, whether it be an elbow or a knee or something like that, you can hook that hand around and kind of get it hung in there and kind of hang on a little bit. But when you just got a hold of somebody's wrist, you have to have some powerful strength in that grip to be able to hang on to that.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of times as we're coaching this, some of the fine points you do is rarely do you ever grab anything with your fingers and thumb wrapped around something. You're always looking to try and hook things because you can get a lot stronger out of a hook, and you can pull and because you get your thumbs away from there, and you can always attack a thumb and put some pressure against it and break it grip. So, but you're always sitting there and you're always grabbing, you're always hooking, you're always pulling. So having that good grip strength is so important. And you see guys that it's kind of funny. You see some of the guys that are really good and my older son's one of those. He wasn't a very big kid, but his hands were huge. He had these big hands, and you see a lot of these guys and see that it's unbelievable how big their hands are.
First period comes to a close here in this JV match, and Cody Thompson with a 4-1 lead as they move to the second period. Yeah, it always amazes me, especially you see somebody get their arm pulled across underneath them, and all he's got a hold of him is the wrist. It just, looking from up here, you think, man, all he's got to do is just jerk that arm back out of that hand. But if you've got that grip strength to hang on to that, and you can keep that arm pulled crossways underneath him, I mean, that's a powerful move to be able to accomplish that way.
Yeah, it is, and it's so important to be able to do those little things like that. And I always tell the kids that, you know, it's little things make big differences in big matches. So, you know, just be able to hang on to that, being there, you know, like we talked earlier, staying in good position and doing just kind of the right things. Like Cody there kind of missed his arm, but he threw it back and got to the leg and ended up finishing that, you know. Initially, he wasn't very good. He got his arm hung back there, but he got his hips back underneath him, threw that left hand on it there, got to a lock, and was able to finish that.
Got 2 more points for it, so it's now a 7-1 lead for Cody Thompson. Again, this JV match here between Thompson and the wrestler from Joplin. They only had 2 JV kids on their roster. They had,
it's probably one of the kids that wrestled earlier.
Reitz and Bradley, but yeah, that's what I was thinking. It might be one of the kids.
See, because they were at, what weights did they? So it's probably the bigger one.
Yeah, because Shuey didn't get to wrestle because Monette was open at 38, but Thompson usually wrestles at 52, so we're looking at probably Josiah Reitz. Still 7-1 the advantage. 40 seconds left in the second period. Only 3 junior varsity matches tonight. The Cubs split the first 2 exhibition matches as Jamie Glenn lost by fall, but Jordan Withnell picked up a win by fall early on tonight.
I think Jordan's been at 52, so this is probably Reese that Jordan wrestled. And Thompson's doing a good job on top, keeping pressure on, keeping him flat, running through there, putting pressure on him, doing a good job of running that. He's got to get his knee up in there when he stretches him. Didn't really want to go over the top there. So stay behind the arms, keep things there. I say your elbows belong in your ribs. Anytime you get them extended, you lose leverage.
Second period comes to an end. It's still 7-1 the advantage for Thompson. Cody Thompson trying to make it an all-around good night here on senior night. The Cubs have already won the varsity match as they take the duel from Joplin 50-15. And if Thompson can win this JV match, they'll take 2 of the 3 junior varsity matches here this evening. Again, tonight's web TV coverage here on the Talon Sports Network, brought to you by Coast to Coast First State Bank.
Oh, he gave up that, though.
And just like that, Reitz has turned the match to his favor.
That's a tough, tight position with a minute and a half left in the period. It'll take a lot of fight. If he can keep from getting pinned, he'll win the match by 1.
He's doing a good job right now keeping his body twisted, but still a minute and 15
a long
seconds.
Time down there.
And the pin is finally awarded. So Reitz, who had lost earlier by fall, picks up a win by fall in this exhibition match. So now the evening comes to a close, and I'll finish recognizing our sponsors there. Coast to Coast, First State Bank, Jack Henry & Associates, Monette Rental and Sales, Monette Athletic Booster Club, Huffmaster Insurance, the Bayou Restaurant, Race Brothers Farm and Home Supply, and Cox Health Monette. Cox Health Monette, the official sports medicine provider for Monette High School. And Monette wins it over Joplin 50-15. So they finish the year 12-11 in dual competition. Pick up some nice momentum going to Oak Grove. They'll see some very good competition up there in that tournament.
Yeah, I saw that maybe Smithville was going to be there. They weren't on the original schedule, but I saw something the other day that possibly Smithville was going to be in there, who was Class 2 state champions last year, and they actually moved up to Class 3 this year, got a little bit bigger. So along with Oak Grove, Blue Springs is there, big Class 4 school. I think William Chrisman, DeSoto. So a lot of good competition there. So it should be, it's always a good tournament. So
yeah,
it's always
a great little tune-up to get ready for district. I know Coach Bradley does it every year. He stacks it to some really tough competition that last couple of weeks. So the wrestlers are ready to go and when district tournament rolls around.
Yeah, you're ready to go. I mean, you need to get that tough match here and be ready to battle when it comes time for districts, and districts are one of those deals that you want to go to state. There's going to be that one match that you're going to have to battle. It's going to be a tough match, maybe a 1-point match. You're going to have to get there, and maybe things aren't going there, and you're just going to have to battle and win that one match. There's going to be some matches that you're going to win. If you're one of those kids, you're a state caliber guy, but usually there's that one match that you need to, maybe fight through some adversity. So it's nice to be able to get one where you have to fight through something and get used to that.
And I know years back they used to have to go through a second round. They used to have to go through sectionals, but now they go straight from districts right to state. So that puts just so much more emphasis on the district tournament.
Yeah. It's top 4 out of district go to state, and I think there's 15 teams in our district, 14. I can't remember the number exactly. So, top 4 guys get to go. So you got that pressure. That always that big tough, and usually that tough match is that that match on the backside to get into the 3rd place match, that constellation semis, and trying to win that match. Both guys there really want to go. You win that, you're moving on to the next week, and you don't. So that's the one match where you got to be mentally tough and just battle and stay there and get that win.
Cubs win it over Joplin 50-15. Victories for the Cubs tonight in the contested weight categories. Carter Brink won by fall. Gunnar Bradley won by decision 5-1. Brody Crawford also winning by decision as he got a tech fall tonight 19-1. It was Desmond Hill winning by fall. Wesley Merriman winning by fall. Ian Meyer also won by fall. And Trevor Pruitt lost by fall. And Onis Howard losing by a decision 3-1. That was the only 2 losses in the contested matches tonight for the Cubs. Again, Monette was open tonight at 26, 38, and 95. Joplin was open at 106, 113, 126, 170, and 195. So there were a couple of double forfeits in there that figured into the final point tabulation.
Yeah, and like I said, that's kind of Joplin had some guys kind of dinged up and sick, and they're talking about districts, and they're kind of holding them out, letting them make sure they get healed up completely before.
Yeah, because I saw here about 2.5 weeks ago, they had a really good match with Seneca. They lost the match to Seneca, but everyone knows Seneca's got a very good team this year. They competed with them very good, and so I was looking forward to the competition here tonight. But as you said, a couple of guys being held out right now because you've got to get your guys healthy for next week.
Right, yeah, because next week's what really matters. Getting in there and getting in districts and going on to state. So you want to have your guys 100% ready to go by then. So that's what matters.
Well, it's on to the Oak Grove tournament and then district next week. Gary, as always, we appreciate your help with the broadcast again this year. We'll be looking forward. I mean, it rolls around quicker and quicker all the time.
Yeah,
but again,
does.
thank you so much for your help. We appreciate it.
I love it. Enjoy it.
Thank you. We'll get Coach Bradley here. Appreciate Gary Meyer for helping us out with the technical side of things. Now we're going to get Coach Bradley. We've got to throw him up on the camera here as I rotate things around. Visiting with the head coach of the Cubs, Coach Darrell Bradley. Coach, congratulations. Monette finishes out the regular season with a victory here tonight, 50-15 over Joplin. Just talking with Gary, Joplin, it's just been about 2.5 weeks ago, had a really good match with Seneca, tight contested match. The Seneca Indians did pick up the win, so some good wrestlers coming in here tonight, but Monette takes care of business. You win 7 of the 9 contested weight classes tonight and pick up a nice dual win.
It was a good win. We haven't, Joplin's got some injuries and, a few backups in there tonight, but we didn't wrestle to their level and went out there, took care of business, and I'm just, I'm very, I feel like that was a good effort from our guys, and all of them came and stepped up and wrestled hard. Even some of our losses, I mean, we still came and competed. So I know that Joplin is a little down, licking their wounds a little bit, but hey, we certainly wrestled at a high level tonight and took care of business, and so it was good to see these seniors go out with a win tonight.
Carter Brink gets you started off with a victory, and then Gunnar Bradley and Brody Crawford both pick up decisions. Crawford a tech fall, and then 3 straight pins. Desmond Hill, Wesley Merriman, and Ian Meyer pick up those victories for you back to back to back.
Carter, getting adjusted to 120, he's doing a good job, and he's just going to have to wear guys down, and that's exactly what he did. It took him a little. You got to take down at the end of the first period, and then just really start to heat up and really finish strong. And then, of course, Gunnar had a returning state qualifier. I was kind of iffy about that, with some confidence issues. I mean, Gunnar's kind of hot and cold, and so possibly thinking about going up with him a little bit. And, but he went out there and wrestled a good quality kid. Was a qualifier last year and, has won a lot of matches for them this year. And that's probably one of their best kids tonight. Went out there and won 5-1. So probably should have won worse, but good to see him. He just needs to figure out, get that third gear in that third period to finish some of those matches. So good, proud of his effort. And then of course Brody, finished with a 19 to 1 win at Tech Fall. So it was good to see him, wrestle hard. We're probably going to keep him at 45 and Onus at 52. So they're getting adjusted. They've been down, so we need to get some weight back on them. We feel like those are better weights for them. And then Onus, of course, just couldn't quite get the offense going tonight, and then was just out of bounds and just didn't go his way tonight. I think the effort was there, but 2 straight on shots. He's got to get angles, set up his shots better, and he'll get in on some guys. The guy really did nothing, and that kid did exactly what he needed to do to win the match, and that's what happened. You can't, I thought they should have let him wrestle a little more. I wasn't too happy about the takedown, but that's the way it goes. And then of course, Desmond, seeing him do a good job. He's really aggressive, but he didn't get overly aggressive where he gave up position tonight. So he did a good job battling his hips up, and then went, got the cradle and got the fall. And then of course Wesley and Ian, took care of business tonight. So it was good to see them, get after it tonight.
Yeah, 3 of your 4 seniors pick up wins, and as you said, the other senior, Onus Howard, a couple of times Gary and I talked about it while we were describing what was going on. Very, very close to getting some points right there at the edge of the circle. Didn't happen, and then his opponent, not making any excuses, but his opponent was very defensive tonight. He was kind of standing back and not taking much, letting everything just kind of flow along. He got that early point and was just pretty much satisfied to stay with that point.
That's, if I was wrestling Onus, I'd probably tell my guy the same thing.
Yeah.
Just, tie him up. Don't beat yourself, and and try to win there in the end. And that's what the kid did. We just got to do a little better job of getting to our angles, getting to our shots, because we were in on some stuff, but, we drive him out of bounds. Or, so we know where we need to go with him in the next week or so to get him ready to district tournament so he can start his run. I just think he can get hot. I've seen it before. So I've seen him wrestle at a high level. I believe he can still do that. So.
And that's just the difference. It's just a matter of, just like any sport, you always talk about it's a game of inches. We see Onus Howard missing out on a couple of chances for some points right at the edge of the circle. Brody Crawford 2 different times right at the edge of the circle got points, and that's the way it goes sometimes.
And then Trevor Pruitt almost getting a fall there at the edge.
Yes.
Just got to do a better job pulling him in, know where he's at, mat awareness. So it is a game of inches, and and that ended up going the other way for him. But like I said, we still got a few things we need to tweak and continue to build on our shape, and we got a tough tournament this weekend. They'll probably help us do that. So then go back, have a good week of practice next week to prepare for the district tournament.
Yeah, after a very busy couple of weeks, it was nice to get that week off from last week, the Neosho Cassville match, to tonight, because you could definitely see the kids. They jumped out on top on just about every one of the weight classes, and I got points on the board early.
Yeah, and that was important for us. I told the guys, hey, let's score first, score often, and just keep scoring, building on your shape. It doesn't matter. Really, wasn't too concerned about the results of the duel tonight. Hey, we go out there, we just need matches. We need to continue to build and to get better. And I thought we did that tonight.
Going to Oak Grove this weekend, some very good wrestling teams up there. It'll be some really good competition to get you fine-tuned, ready for district, which is just a week away.
Yeah. When the heck schedules a tough tournament like this week, I don't know. I just feel like some of our, I just think it keeps us sharp, and it's not, I'm not really too concerned about the results, or what's going to happen or this and that. We just need to see good competition this late in the year, because I know we're going to see it at the state tournament, and like districts may be one of our weaker tournaments of the year. I hope, it traditionally that's the way it's been, and so I think that we can, this tournament's just going to prepare us, to battle tough in the district tournament and then in the state. So, but you got Oak Grove, who's probably the favorite in our class. Smithville has a chance to defend state champs last year, moved up to class 3. They're in it. They're number 2 in the state behind Neosho. So I don't know. We're not shying away from competition. We're going to see what happens, and hopefully we can just learn and grow, build our shape, so we're ready to go next weekend.
4 seniors recognized here tonight before the matches: Brody Crawford, Onus Howard, Desmond Hill, and Ian Meyer. And those guys had a very challenging senior year, because with the Cubs winning the state football championship, preparation for wrestling season got pushed back quite a bit for those young men, and they really had to work hard to get ready and get up and running for wrestling season, to get into wrestling shape. So a challenging year for them, but they all finished strong.
Yeah, I just tip my hat to those guys. I just have a lot of respect for them. It could have been easily just, I think I'm done, and to stay in this sport for 4 years is quite an accomplishment. And all those 4 young men, we usually have big classes in the freshman freshman year, and if you can make it all the way through, you got my respect. You've earned it, and I'm just so proud of those guys, especially those football guys that have worked so hard to get to this level and having good seasons, and I think they're going to continue to do that, and hopefully we can, help us earn some hardware on the mat.
Yeah, you've got some state qualifiers there and some perennial state qualifiers, and I know they're looking to finish off their senior years strong and making some noise up at Columbia.
Yeah, we're ready. I can tell the guys have good attitudes and they're continuing to work hard, and it's just something different about this group. We've had some groups in the past that are kind of ready to be done. This group, I think they're still hungry and they're wanting more. So and it all starts with our seniors and their leadership, and I know sometimes coaches kind of exaggerate. I'm not kidding. These guys have been great this year, and just so proud of their effort and their attitude. And I think they're the reason why we're having so much success this year.
Well, congratulations on the victory here tonight. Good luck against all the competition at Oak Grove, and we look forward to following the Cubs as they head on to district in a week.
Thank you, Sammy.
Coach Darryl Bradley, head coach of the Cubs wrestling team. Coach Darryl Bradley visiting with us here this evening, and the Cubs win over Joplin 50-15 tonight. Final regular season dual competition. Oak Grove tournament coming up this Saturday, and then districts a week from Friday as the district tournament gets underway for the Cubs. And this year's district tournament will be at Clinton, so should be some really good competition, and the Cubs are ready to head towards the postseason. Again, we'd like to thank our sponsors tonight for our wrestling coverage on MonetWebTV.com and the Talon Sports Network. Coast to Coast, as we flip the camera back around, Coast to Coast, First State Bank, Jack Henry and Associates, Monet Rental and Sales, Monet Booster Club, Huffmaster Insurance, Bayou Restaurant, Race Brothers Farm and Home Supply, and Cox Health Monet, the official sports medicine provider for Monet High School. We appreciate all their support of our athletic programs and our broadcast here on the Talon Sports Network, whether on web TV or on the radio. We thank all of our sponsors so very much for helping us get these games and matches out on the airwaves. Again, thanks to Gary Meyer for helping us out again this year, broadcasting Monet Cubs wrestling. Don't know what I'd do without him. He knows the ins and outs and the ups and downs and all around, and he knows it all when it comes to wrestling. A longtime youth coach here at Monet, and he's the father of a four-time state champ, and Kyle Meyer, and another outstanding wrestler that was recognized here tonight, Ian Meyer, on senior night. So we appreciate Gary for all of his help again covering Monet Cubs wrestling here on the Talon Network and MonetWebTV.com. Well, that's going to do it for our broadcast here tonight from the MAC. We thank you for being with us. The Cubs pick up a nice dual win to close out the regular season. Now it's on to the final tournament of the year, and then districts begins next Friday and Saturday on February 10th and 11th up in Clinton. This year's Missouri State High School Activities Association Wrestling Tournament, the state tournament up at the Mizzou Arena in Columbia, February 16th, 17th, and 18th. You qualify through districts, and then you move on and try to win state championships up in Columbia. So we'll be keeping track of the Cubs and see how many they're going to be sending to Central Missouri coming up in the middle of February. We wish them all a lot of good luck in the district tournament. Okay, I think that's going to about wrap things up tonight. Wins tonight for the Cubs: Carter Brink, Gunnar Bradley, Brody Crawford, Desmond Hill, Wesley Merriman, and Ian Meyer all picked up victories tonight for Monet, and the Cubs defeat the Joplin Eagles by a score of 50-15. This is Sammy Clapper speaking for Gary Meyer, saying thanks so much for being with us, and good night from the MAC.